Hello, everyone. This is Jim Escott. I'm the Michigan State Knights of Columbus Training Director. I'm here today. This is part 2 of the Grand Knight training to show you the technology overview of technology items Grand Knights should be familiar with to be effective Grand Knights. Hopefully, you've already watched the PowerPoint training video so that you're aware of those things. Now I want to show you how to do a whole bunch of things on the computer as a Grand Knight. So let me start with the first thing, which is how to do your email. And again, we're on the internet here, so I'm going to go to the internet and type in www.mikofc.org, which is the Michigan State website. Should be very familiar. Hopefully you've all been here before, but this gives you everything and anything you want to know about the Knights of Columbus from the state of Michigan perspective. And I move forward. So a couple things here is if you come on down the screen, so if you scroll on down, you'll see down here, click for Google Mail. And if you click on that, it's going to bring up Google Mail. And depending on if you already have a Google Mail account or not, it will look a little different. Since I already have been on Google Mail many, many times, it comes up with my email here. So if you have several Google email accounts, you'll get into one. But if you just come over here and click on Google accounts, if it's already in there, it's in there. If you want to create a new one, you can create a new one. But this is how you get into your email, and that's how that works. Now, if you forgot your password, you again come to the Michigan State website and scroll on down, and you'll see an item here that says email support, and you can submit a problem. So you'll come in here, you'll give them your name, your membership number, your Knights of Columbus email address. If you have another email address, put that one in here. That's very important if they want you to have reset your password, because that's where you should have it sent to. Your telephone number, and then what the problem is that you're having. So you'll put that in there. You then come down here to the bottom, and you'll see this number here, 7009. You just copy this number over into this box here on the right. This just basically verifies that you're not a robot. And once you've done that, I guess you got to fill in all these other names. So I'm going to put in Jim Escott, my membership number 1234567. My Knights of Columbus email address is j.escott@mikofc.org. Telephone number 248-345-8523. Problem I'm having, this is, well, you'll want to just say reset my password. It doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. And once you've filled in all these positions, it'll come up down here and say submit request, which you saw very quickly. It submitted the request, and it will be sent to Doug Cocott, who will reset your ID, and you'll be good to go from there. So showed you how to get in, and I showed you how to reset your password if you need to have that done. There's also a training video which I sent out, which is also available on the state website, that gives you a more detailed, I think it's 10 minutes in general, on how to go through this whole process. So if you want to see that in more detail, review to that one, but I'm not going to duplicate all those works here. Next thing I want to do is get out of this here real quick. Don't need to see my email anymore. Don't need to go to Gmail support. Next thing I want to show you is forms. So what you'll be able to see on the state website is this forms spreadsheet. And let me blow this up a little bit so you can see it a little larger. make it 150. And I've shared this with all the district deputies. It's also on the state website. They should be sharing it with you. But here's what's in here. I took every form that you could ever think of, both from Supreme and from the state, and entered them all in here in the spreadsheet that tells you when it's due, and they're sorted by due date from the beginning of the fraternal year to the end of the fraternal year, what the form number is, what the form name is, and then this column says link. So as an example, if you're going to do on July 15th, the Family of the Month form that you got to turn in, where is that form? You don't have to know where it is. All you have to do is click on this link, be connected to the internet, and then it goes to the right spot, and poof, up comes the form. And then you just fill this thing out, save a copy, and then send it. And I think it tells you here where to send it to. Oh, but that's also in my spreadsheet. So you just fill this out and send it in, and you're done. You don't need to know where you went to find it. So after the link comes the format column, and then it tells you where to send it. Most forms need to go to 3 different places. Here's the email address at Supreme to send it. Here's the email address of the person at the state to send it to. And here's the email address for your district deputy. Now, since this is my generic form, you have to put in your own district deputy number. If you're District 12, you got to put in dd12@mikfc.org. If you're District 97, you got to put in dd97@mikfc.org. So that's all different for you. This particular form happens to be on the Supreme website, but the membership recruitment form is on the state website. So if you just click on this, again, you don't even need to know which website it's on. It pulls up the copy of the form, you fill it out, and then when you're done, you just send it. You just send it where you were, or to the people that are on the form. So let me get out of this. Let me get out of this. Let me minimize that. And so that's what's in this thing. And what I'd recommend you do is at the beginning of the year, you sit down with your council and you kind of walk through these things, because not all these forms are required or mandatory. So you'll come through this and you'll just start going through them with your council, and then you'll get to, night of the month. Well, we don't really do the night of the month programs. So you just come in here, and for your council, you just delete this line. So it takes it out of there, and then you keep on coming down. Whichever ones you don't want to do, you delete. And the ones you think you're going to do, you save. And then save this copy for your council. And then every month you can go through and see what's due when, has it been filled out, who's going to fill it out, and then here's where you find the links to it, and poof, you're done. So that makes that pretty simple. So this is kind of the summary. Now, let me show you a few things that you can do where the actual forms are kept. So let's go to the state website, www.mikfc.org, which is the Michigan State website. Once you come here, you click on this thing called Resources. And after you've clicked on that, you come down here under Forms, it says Council Forms. You click on Council Forms, and then over here on the left, it shows you all the forms that the state requires. Notice this Excel spreadsheet at the top is the forms spreadsheet that I just went through with you. So this is here for you to download and make changes on your own computer of the forms that you want to do. But then here's where all the other forms are for the state of Michigan. Then the Supreme also has forms, and their website is www.kofc.org. When you click on that, you will come here, and these forms are kept in 2 different places. So what you'll do is, if you click here under what we do, and programs. These are the 4 programs that are part of the Faith in Action: Faith, Family, Community, and Life. And if you click on resources, it brings up all the program forms. So you come over here and you got all these things. If you click on Faith in Action forms, it will bring them all up for you. So here's the report forms: fraternal programs report form, codes for kids, global wheelchair, family of the month, etc., etc. And here's the other forms for family of the year, food for families, ultrasound, RSVP, all those sorts of things. So these are all the program forms that you have to get, and that's where to find those. And if you click on the administrative forms, are clicking on for members, and then click on council leaders. And if you scroll on down here under council leaders, under Grand Night, you'll see resources. Click on that. And let me scroll down a little bit. And of course, it's already on forms, but you'll see all the administrative forms. So up at the top is this Form 185, which is your report of officers chosen. Tells you the due date. Service program personnel report is due on August 1st. Does degree exemplification reports done every time you do a exemplification, et cetera, et cetera. So they're all here. You click on the report, brings up the report, fill it out, save it, send it into where I told you to send it on that Excel spreadsheet, and you're done. So that's where all the forms are kept. So I think that's all I have to cover as far as forms go. Moving on to training, let me show you what training is available. So let me go back to the Spring website, www.kfc.org. And there's a couple of places for training to look. But if you click on for members, under these, you'll see all the different types of members and things that you have here. But if you click on council officers, you can see fraternal leader training webinars that are for Grand Nights, for financial secretaries, for program directors. So those sorts of things are there. The other place, which is actually better to do, is to click on this sign in button up here. And every Grand Night should have a user ID and password sent to them. So let me put this in. Try it again. I missed one. And before I click enter or sign in, let me just make something set. If you get to the screen and you don't know what your username is, you can click on Account Assistant, fill in a couple questions, answer a couple questions, and they will tell you your username. If you forgot your password, you can click on Password Reset, type in your username, and it will help reset your password for you. So all those sorts of things to help you in case you're struggling on this page. But since I already know mine, I'm going to click on Sign In. And now I'm in Officers Online. And when you get here, go through a whole bunch of things about what's in here, but there's Officers Desk Reference is a great place to find information about the Knights of Columbus. It's got all these drop-down things that tell you who we are, principles of fraternalism, online membership, social communications, all these different areas that just have lots of information for you to read and look through. So you can go through that. Let me go back. And another key area, which has really got most of the training, is this fraternal training portal here. So if you click on this, it brings up the fraternal training portal. And there's lots of training materials here for you. If you come down here, it shows you a training catalog. If you're a Grand Night, you click on Grand Night and it will show you all the training that's available for Grand Nights. If you're a financial secretary, it shows you what training's available for financial secretaries. Here's some material on membership recruiting, charity matters, conducting meetings, all sorts of different places where you can go to get information about whatever it is that you need to be trained on. So as an example for conducting meetings, which is very important for Grand Knights, and I went through this in the video that I went through the PowerPoint presentation. Hopefully you watched that one first. But there's a class here on conducting effective meetings. You click on this, you enroll in the class, you take that class, and it walks you through all those sorts of things. So it's very helpful from that perspective. So that's the training that's available from Supreme that you can take a look at. Now, I've got so many windows open here. Let me kind of get out of some of these. Go back to Officers Online. And now let me show you what's available on the state website. So now if I come back up here and type www.mikofc.org, I'll take you to the state website, and then again, click on resources. You scroll on down here. You can see under membership, there's certain things here, how to do a Delta Drive, online membership, retention. So there's a bunch of things here that are helpful. But also down here is manuals and documentation on the MI Drive, the bowling tournament. You'll see training PowerPoints, which is where most of my material is here. And we're gonna update this so it's a little easier to read and follow. But here's a bunch of different things here. It currently has the GK training for 2019. I have to take that off and put the GK training for 2020 up here. But here's where you can see a bunch of different training videos from the state of Michigan and get access to some of these things. Okay. So I think that's it on training. Now let's talk about Officers Online. I already went into it once, but let me go into it again and kind of give you a good overview of Officers Online. Now, I keep typing in www.kfc.org and www.mikfc.org. One of the things that I did on my computer is I created a tab for the Knights of Columbus, which is Supreme, and State, which is the state. So rather than typing that in, if I just click on this, it's the same thing as typing in www.kfc.org. And makes it easier to find this from time to time because I'm always coming back to it. So once you're here, you have to then sign in. And I kind of already walked you through this process. And I'm already still logged in, so that's why it didn't ask me to log in again. It tells me my name, and I borrowed this from Dave Stulak, who's a friend of mine. Here's the last time that he logged in, and his role as a Grand Knight. So if I come down here, you'll see it says he's in the jurisdiction of Michigan. He's in District 12, and his council number is 11811, which is in Novi. Now, you've got all these supporting applications, which are just different things to see, which are helpful. I already showed you Officer's Desk Reference. It's just a bunch of information there for Grand Knights to bring them up to speed. It's a great place to go if you're looking for answers for certain questions. Office of Youth Protection gives you a bunch of information about what the youth protection policies are, who needs to be taking it, what the frequently asked questions are, all those sorts of things that are in there. Home corporations is if your council has a hall that they own and rent out and other sorts of things. How do you set up home corporations? What are the rules of home corporations? How to deal with that, frequently asked questions. I also walked you through the fraternal training portal to show you what training is available. I'm going to save member management for last because we're going to go through that in a lot of detail. Bylaws online is a way to set up the bylaws for your council, or if they're already there, ways to change them. Then there's very few things that can change, but for the things that can change, you can do that online by clicking on that option. Knights Gear and Supplies Online are basically stores for where do you buy things. So Knights Gear is a place where you can buy Knights of Columbus shirts and hats and golf balls and those sorts of things that have the Knights of Columbus emblem on them. And then Supplies Online is a way you can get, supplies for your council, like sashes for your exemplification team for the new Charity Unity and Fraternity exemplification. You can buy jewels for your council, for Grand Knight, Deputy Grand Knight, etc. You know, all those sorts of things you can get by going to supplies online. Then there's this section down here, which has got all these tabs. And it always comes up with your membership tab, which basically shows you what your status is. So for this particular council, the membership quota for the year is 9. So far this month, which is April, they've had no gains, no losses, which is a net 0. And year to date, they've brought in 3 new members, lost none for a net of 3. And so they're 33% of their goal, since they've got 3 of 9 taken. Insurance, same thing. What's your quota? How many people you brought in this month? How many people you brought in year to date? And since they are 3 for 3, they're at 100% of their insurance quota. Good place to be. Their current membership is 155 people, and their net change in membership is +3 people. So you can see how that all works. And it's just a very good high-level summary to tell you from a membership perspective what's going on with your council. Also, if you've submitted some Form 100s and added some new people and they don't show up on here, you might need to go ask questions and find out why, because this is the official place to know what Supreme thinks is going on. Reports is a very good place to go. And let me show you some of the interesting things that are in here. There's a membership roster, and you can either look at a PDF or an Excel. Now, some of you may not have Microsoft Office, so if you don't have Excel, you can click on this PDF and it brings it up. And I'll show you this one, although I don't want to go through every report. But it basically shows you every member of your council, what their member number is, their name, their street address, city they live in, whether they're first, second, or third degree, and what day they took it on. If they left the Knights and came back, what day they re-entered, how many years of service do they have, what's their birth date, and are they an associate member and insurance member, or not quite sure what N means. I guess that must be inactive. So anyway, it kind of shows you all that and gives you that type of information for every member of your council. So it's a nice report to see. Membership roster from January shows you the same thing that the membership roster did, but was time-stamped as effective from January 1st, 2020. So the difference between this one and this one shows you the changes since then. This is your membership roster since the start of the fraternal year, which was July 1st. Financial statement and safe environment member status. Now, I think I went through the safe environment in the youth protection in my PowerPoint video, and you can see reports there when you go into to log in for your youth protection. But there's also a report here, and I'll click on this to show you. Open. And remember I said there's 4 people from East Council that need to be youth protection compliant. So what this form here shows you that in the United States, in Michigan, in District 12, Council 11811, here's a membership number for the community director. Here's his name, here's his email address. He took his initial training on July 12th, 2019, so he is compliant. He needs to retrain or take his training again, not till August 22nd of 2021. He did his background check on August 20th of 2018. He is compliant there, and he needs to redo his background check, rescreening eligibility, not till August 23rd of 2021. And so his overall status is compliant. And you can walk through all 4 of the people that way. And basically you should see this report and see compliant for all of these. If they're either not compliant or missing, you know you have a problem. So just kind of want to walk you through that report so you can see that that's there for you to use as well. Okay, next, besides reports, there's forms. So this gives you information about your forms, and a couple of key ones here. Well, these are all the forms that we talked about in the forms section. You can either go to my Excel spreadsheet to see what forms are due where, or you can go to the Supreme and Michigan websites to see them. Or if you come here, it's another way to access the same forms. So you can come in here and see the form number, click on the form, and it pulls that up for you. Okay. Publications, these are just some important things to keep your eye on. Nightline is a publication that comes out. Leadership handbooks, you can see these to read. It's another form of education. Frequently asked questions and whatever other sorts of things. The script for the Charity, Unity, and Fraternity Exemplification is here online. So you can, if you don't have a copy of that, you can click on it here and print it and have it for your council. Then there's these two new tabs that were just added recently. One called Prospects, which tell you who are the prospects that you're looking at bringing into your council. And then Candidates. And this Candidates one is very, very brand new, just came out. And this is what replaces the paper Form 100. So rather than submitting the Form 100, you come in here, you click Add, you put in somebody's name and their email address, whether it's having are they a transfer or a new person, what date they came in. You answer a few other questions for them, and then you click Add or Submit or whatever, and it will forward it to Supreme, and then you do it all online here rather than having to fill out a paper Form 100. So there's another email and video that came out on that, which Grand Knights should all have had access to, which you can take a look at. And if you have any further questions, you can contact your district deputy. So that's kind of what's good about Officers Online. What are the neat things that you can find there? Now let's go into member management, which is the one thing that I skipped earlier. This is kind of key, and it's got a lot of good information in here. And there's two versions of member management. There's the live version, which means you go in here, you make changes, and it saves them. Or there's the training version, which you go in, it's got the same information, but if you change things, it's like a playground or a sandbox. You're just playing, and any changes you make, it doesn't really save them. So I'm going to go in here to the training one just because this really isn't my council, and I don't want to screw around with any of the things that that council's got going on. So this is what member management looks like, and basically is a way for you to find out everything and anything you wanted to know about a member of your council. You type in their last name or the membership number, click search, it finds the person, and then it will show you who the person is, where he lives. If he's got a house here in Michigan and another one in Florida for the winter months, it'll tell you the address down there. Phone numbers, email addresses, if he's married, what his spouse's name is, what their wedding anniversary date is, what his birthday is, whatever information that you've been able to capture and place in here, that information is available for you to take a look at. So you can look up either active members or former members. It's good to take a look at the former members if you want to try to find, maybe bring some of those people back and have a recruiting drive. So a couple key things here that I want to show you. There's too many councils that are still using the old-fashioned PDF form for their forms 185 and 365. But if you want to do them in here, it's really easy. You click on Council Administration, and you click on Current Officers and Next Officers. And what it's going to show you is for this council, let's scroll down here. Here's who the Grand Knight is. Here's who the Financial Secretary is, all the way down the line. Their names, their membership numbers, and what date they got that role. So that's all in there. And then let's say I want to make a change. As you can see here, let's come up here and let's just say, as an example, Tom Herc has decided he doesn't want to be warden anymore, steps down, and they name somebody else to be the warden. So you can just basically come in here and say, okay, I want to change the warden. I want to search by last name, and I don't know. Let's say I know somebody by the name of Maya. Click the last name, it's going to show me Mark Amaya. I say assign to this role. And if you come down here to the warden, you'll see that Mark Amaya with his membership number was assigned on March 18th, 2020. And then you click on submit, and it will submit this to Supreme. And that's the same thing as refilling out your form 185 and doing it that way. The other really nice thing about this is, and it's coming up because now it's April, in May and June, you're going to be electing new officers. So if you come to the same thing and say next fraternal year, you can come down and again, it will show you who all the current people are. And then what you want to do for the next year is you can either go in manually and change all of these that you want one at a time, or if you say, you know, that's pretty much the same as last year, you copy from the current year, it fills in all the stuff from the current year, and then you just make the one or two changes that you want for this year, hit submit again, and it will change it. So poof, you're done. Now that you've actually submitted to Supreme, Supreme has it, but your district deputy does not, nor does the state of Michigan. So you come up here to the print center, and you say, I want to print the current officers. And it's going to take a few minutes to process and create the report. And then when it's done, you click here to open it. Click on open. And you can see this thing came up here, and it says training because I'm in the training module. But it basically shows you this report of who the financial secretary, Grand Knight, advocate, all these people are, their email address, their home phone numbers, yada, yada, yada. You can then take this and save a copy and then email this to the state of Michigan, email a copy to your district deputy, and probably save a copy for yourself as well. But all those options are there. You know, you click on save to save yourself a copy and save it on your computer and go from there. But it was much easier to fill out, excuse me, this way rather than do it the old-fashioned way. So let me exit out of that. And the same thing's available. If I come back here to Council Administration for the Service Program Personnel Report, which is your Form 365. So these are all your directors: program director, community director, family director. Here's who's in those roles. Here's their membership numbers, and here's their start dates. So again, you can change all that you want, and then you can come over here to the print center when you're done, and current service program personnel report or next year's service program personnel report. Pull it up, save a copy as a PDF, and then email it to your district deputy and you're in the state of Michigan. So I wanted to kind of walk you through how to do those things. And I think I've pretty much walked through the important stuff here. I mean, the other thing that you can do for members management is you can probably talk to your financial secretary, because they've been using this for years. There's ways with which you can get information, print reports that show you, you know, when birthdays are. So if you want to send each of your members a birthday card on their birthday, you can do that. If you want to send members a anniversary card on their wedding anniversary, which is kind of a nice thing to do, you can generate reports that show you that. And even if you don't have the time, you can create the report and you can give it to maybe your retention director or someone else and ask them to send out the cards, because anything you can do to make your members feel wanted and needed and cared for will be beneficial for you to do. So in summary, I've walked through how to get to your email. I've walked through the forms and the form spreadsheet and where to find them. I've walked through how to find training on both Supreme and the state website. I've walked through Officers Online, and then overview showed you what all is in there. And then specifically, I showed you how to use member management in general, how to create your forms 185 and 365, and also how to about this new candidate tab, which is the online version of the Form 100, so you don't have to submit paper Form 100s anymore. Hopefully you find that helpful, and thank you all for watching, and we'll see you later.